The 90s weren't just about scrunchies, boy bands, and VHS tapes. They were a golden era for some of the wildest foods ever made. But not everything survived into the 2000s. Some snacks vanished without warning, others gone before we even knew what hit us. Today, we're digging up 10 iconic 90s foods you'll probably never taste again. And trust us, the reasons why might just surprise you. So let's start with something harmless. A snack you might vaguely remember from recess, but once we dig a little deeper, you'll see how even the simplest 90s treats didn't exactly have an easy ride. Number 10. Hubba Bubba Bubble Jug. It sounded like magic. Pour weird pink powder into your mouth, and somehow it would transform into chewing gum. Hubba Bubba's Bubble Jug was fun, messy, and made for legendary sugar highs. But the novelty wore off fast. Parents worried about choking hazards. Kids moved on to other candy fads. And before long, Bubble Jug quietly disappeared from shelves. Sure, it was fun for about 30 seconds. But even in the 90s, there were limits to what powdery science experiments people were willing to chew on. But if you thought powdered gum was weird, just wait until you hear about the snack that literally exploded into another dimension. Number 9. Crystal Pepsi. In 1992, someone had a wild idea. What if cola was clear? Crystal Pepsi promised purity, health, and a new generation of soda drinkers. The problem? It tasted almost like regular cola, but the crystal clear look made everyone expect something different, something lighter, fruitier, cleaner. And when it didn't deliver that, people bailed fast. Despite a few nostalgic comeback attempts, Crystal Pepsi couldn't shake its weird soda experiment image. And believe it or not, the next food didn't just confuse your brain. It crushed your snack cravings and then disappeared before anyone could save it. Number 8. PB Crisps. Imagine biting into a peanut-shaped shell that cracked open to reveal creamy, sweet peanut butter inside. That was PB Crisps, Planters' glorious attempt to create the ultimate snack for kids and adults alike. Launched in the mid-90s, they were crunchy, nutty, and dangerously addictive. So what went wrong? Rumor has it that production costs were too high, and Planters couldn't keep up with snack trends shifting toward healthier options. PB Crisps were quietly pulled off shelves, leaving behind nothing but broken hearts, and dozens of fan petitions begging for a comeback. And if losing peanut buttery goodness stung, the next disappearance hit way deeper. It was an entire movement disguised as a health drink. Number 7. Fruitopia. If you lived through the 90s, Fruitopia was everywhere. School vending machines, lunchrooms, TV commercials with dreamy music playing in the background. It wasn't just juice, it was an experience. Coca-Cola marketed Fruitopia as the zen alternative to sodas, full of fruits and feel-good vibes. But when the 90s ended, so did Fruitopia's charm. Teens moved on, and the brand quietly folded into Minute Maid's portfolio. Some flavors survived under different labels, but the original Fruitopia magic? Gone. And as painful as losing Zen fruit juice was, the next lost snack was a real-life cartoon, and it disappeared even faster. Number 6. Butterfinger BBs. Bite-sized Butterfinger balls? It felt like the future of candy. Introduced in the mid-90s, Butterfinger BBs were perfect. Poppable, crunchy, coated in chocolate, and packed with that unmistakable Butterfinger flavor. Plus, they had Bart Simpson himself in the ads, warning everyone, nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger BBs. But by the early 2000s, Butterfinger BBs were gone. Recipe tweaks, a crowded candy market, and fading popularity spelled the end. Even a brief relaunch under a different name couldn't capture the magic again. And admit it, you still miss that crumbly, peanut buttery mess they left all over your hands. If tiny candies could vanish that easily, imagine what happened to the drink you didn't just sip, you squeezed. Number 5. Squeeze It. It was part drink, part toy, and 100% 90s kid heaven. Squeeze It came in bright plastic bottles with crazy fruit characters, and the whole point was to squeeze the bottle to slurp up the sugary juice inside. It wasn't the flavor that made Squeeze It a legend, it was the experience. Sadly, as health trends shifted and concerns about sugary drinks grew, Squeeze It got squeezed out of the market. By the early 2000s, it was just a memory, unless you hoarded a few bottles in your pantry like a true rebel. But if you thought losing Squeeze It hurt, wait till you remember the snack that had slime, cartoons, and every 90s kid absolutely obsessed. Number 4. Nickelodeon Fruit Roll-Ups. If you opened your lunchbox in the 90s and didn't have a Nickelodeon fruit roll-up inside, were you even living? These weren't just snacks. They were works of art. Bright green slime patterns, Nicktoons characters, and the endless challenge of peeling off the design perfectly without ripping it. Spoiler, almost nobody succeeded. They vanished when Nickelodeon's licensing deal with the brand ended. Regular fruit roll-ups stuck around, but the slime and cartoons gone like yesterday's episode of Double Dare. And just like that, every lunchbox got a little less exciting. But if you think losing edible slime art was rough, the next one was the king of juice boxes, and its disappearance left a green ghost haunting snack memories forever. Number 3. High-C Ecto Cooler Juice Boxes. There's something about a neon green juice box that just hit different. Tied to the Ghostbusters craze, High-C's Ecto Cooler wasn't just a drink, it was a cultural moment. Citrus-flavored, brightly colored, and featuring Slimer right on the packaging, it ruled cafeterias everywhere. But after Ghostbusters faded from the spotlight, so did Ecto Cooler. Licensing deals ended, and by the early 2000s, the last slimy green box had disappeared, leaving kids to suffer with regular orange juice instead. Sure, there were a few short-lived comebacks when Ghostbusters reboots dropped, but the original magic? It's still just a memory. And if you thought a neon green juice box was weird, the next drink looked more like a science experiment than something you'd actually want to swallow. Number 2. Orbits. Picture a lava lamp. Now imagine drinking it. That's basically what Orbits was, a weird, futuristic fruit drink from 1997 with floating gelatin balls suspended inside clear liquid. No carbonation, no real texture change when you swallowed it. Just wiggly bits of flavor hovering around like alien life forms. Orbits looked incredible, but drinking it? Let's just say it wasn't for everyone. Consumers found the texture strange and confusing, and sales nosedived almost immediately. Orbits was pulled from shelves after just a year, but those who dared to drink it, they still talk about it like it was a secret club. And if you thought drinking a lava lamp was bold, the number 1 90s snack didn't just look different, it changed the way we crunched forever. Number 1. 3D Doritos. Flat chips? Boring. The 90s wanted extreme everything, including snacks. Enter 3D Doritos. Puffed up, crunchy, hollow triangles that exploded in your mouth way louder than any regular chip could. They came in wild flavors like jalapeno cheddar and nacho blast, and the commercials practically dared you to crunch them harder than your friends. But as snack trends shifted away from extreme and into healthier choices, 3D Doritos quietly faded into memory by the early 2000s. Of course, because nostalgia has power, they made a comeback years later, but hardcore 90s kids know they're not exactly the same. And once you've crunched into a 3D Dorito, tasted Orbits goo, and peeled a slime-filled fruit roll-up, you realize the 90s weren't just weird, they were legendary. Maybe it's good some of these foods stayed in the past, maybe it's sad, or maybe it just means we're due for the next generation of wild, slightly questionable snacks. Because if the 90s taught us anything, it's that food doesn't have to make sense, it just has to be unforgettable. And honestly, there are still a few 90s snack secrets we haven't even uncovered yet.